Greetings and salutation, my friends. Welcome to another FM17 team guide. Today we are looking at Manchester City. We're looking to go through the team step by step in a quick sort of 13-15 minute video, talking about the philosophies of the club, what they expect you to achieve this season, finances, staff. We're going to have a quick look at the team report, under 18s, under 23s, to see if there's any little hidden gems that we can improve, and then have a look at the squad as a whole, go through some of the players, and then talk about their strengths and weaknesses, what sort of basic tactic we might use, and then also talk about what sort of a challenge this will be this season and how much fun it might be, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. So firstly, philosophies. They want us to play attacking football, sign high-profile players, and develop players using the club's youth system. Now, these two clash a little bit, but I don't see it being a problem. We should have plenty of money, which we'll look at shortly, so we can do both of those. I think that's perfectly fine. So on to the finances. Let's have a look. 28.9 million, not as much as I'd hoped, but they have already made some big signings this summer. 152,000 in wages is okay as well, so not as good, quite as good as I'd hoped. Now, what do they expect us to actually achieve this season? Because that's going to be the main thing. I imagine it's win the league, isn't it? Yeah, win the league, FA Cup final, League Cup they don't care about, Champions League quarter final. I think this is probably the strongest single squad in the Premiership, so I think it's definitely doable, all those suggestions. So let's have a look at the rest of it. So quick look at staff. They've got the best medical team in the country, apparently. The coaches and scouts could use some work. We've got plenty of space on the old roster, so definitely look to improve, get a few more coaches in and scouts in just to get that up there as well. We're going to have a quick look at the team report. I won't read this out. I'll just kind of pause it if you want to read it. That's sort of go through, because we're going to go through that stuff anyway. Let's have a look at the under 18, see if there's any cheeky little gems that could possibly come through. Remember, one of our goals was to produce players through the youth system, and it doesn't look that good, not at least in the under 18s. Our best prospect is Jadon Sancho, 16 years old, looks pretty decent, good determination. He's never going to be a world beater, but you know, he could become a squad player if treated right and got tutoring and stuff. Under 23s, so quite a large squad, needs a bit of a cull. A lot of low-rated players here that you could probably just sell off. There's some decent amount of players that are out on loan. Zuccolini, for instance, 3.3 million. Mangala, 23 million. Wilfred Boney. So next season, if you can keep your job, next season you could make a lot of money in sales. Aaron Moy is on loan at Aston Villa. So plenty of good players there that you could make a lot of money. Moreno, 10 million. Jesus Christ. Like a gold mine. I found a gold mine, people. The two sort of big names, Aruli, the goalkeeper, valued at 14 million out on loan. Pretty damn good. You can't recall him, sadly, because I think we need a backup goalkeeper. And Samir Nasri is out on loan, valued at £31 million. Oliver Nietzsche. There's some decent prospects. Not many of decent young prospects. Nietzsche's probably our best bet. It's actually pretty damn good. But there's a lot of money to be made in that team, definitely. All right, let's look at the main squad. We're not going to go through each player in massive detail. We just want to sort of go through, see what the strengths and weaknesses are, see where we're going to spend our money, basically. So we've got Claudio Bravo in goal and Willy Caballero, obviously, as our backup. Obviously, Joe Hart's out on loan. Must have missed him. Is he not that? Where's Joe Hart? There he is. There he is. Look, more money to be made, or bring back and keep him, because he's still a decent goalkeeper. But we've got Claudio Bravo's our main man. Superb goalkeeper. 33 now, so maybe I might be looking, and our backup's 34. Joe Hart's not young. I might look at bringing in a young goalkeeper that we can mould over the next couple of years to take Bravo's place, maybe 2-3 years. As far as right backs goes, we've got Bakary Sagna with his funny hair. Really good right back. Only problem is 33 years old. We need to keep that in mind for sort of longer term, because we've also got Zabaleta, who I absolutely adore. I think he's a sensational player. Also 31 years old. We've got Pablo Maffio, who's not that good. 18 years old. I probably wouldn't even have him in the squad. Maybe get him out on loan for a season. But right back option, perfectly good. 2 solid, good right backs. Maybe you just need to think about, for the future, a younger player. As far as left backs go, again, another older player, but a very good player. Gael Clichy, solid left back. And also Kolarov, who's, again, 30. The age of these players is amazing. Physicals are dropping a little bit now, but very good going forward. Really good technicals. Does like a shot, doesn't he? Shoots with power, shoots from distance, gets forward whenever possible. So very, very attacking fullback. Good sort of keep that in mind. So fullback options. 2 good left backs. We might spend some money to replace one of them just to get in a younger version, but we'll talk about that at the end. Now, centre-back options. So we got the new signing, John Stones, who's a superb young centre-back. He's going to be absolutely solid for the next 10, 12 years. No need to worry about him whatsoever. Then you've got the legend that is Vinny Kompany, out for 3 months at the start of the game, but still an absolute beast. 30 years old, you're still going to get a few years out of him yet. So Kompany, Stones is your centre-back partnership. Otamendi, also superb. Those 3 can rotate all year long. So what happens if we get an injury? We're kind of screwed. Any more than one injury, and Kolarov can play centre-back. He's okay, but that definitely needs work. But Sanei can play centre-back. Actually, reasonably well. I didn't know. 16 heading for Sanei. Okay. Actually, he's a pretty decent centre-back, so you could potentially play him at centre-back. But this whole defensive quartet needs strengthening. Right, moving on to central midfield. We've got Fernando, very solid ball-winning midfielder. We've got Fernandinho, more of a playmaker role. Both very good players. Again, 28 and 31. This team is old as shit. Yaya Toure, 33 now. In the game, superb. Obviously, in real life, he can't get anywhere near the team, but still a very, very good player. The trouble is with a lot of these older players is they're not valued very highly, so you're not going to get much money if you cash in on Yaya. So, finally, a younger player, Ika Godongan, superb deep line playmaker, advanced playmaker. He's a very good passer with the ball, good technique, decision-making, composure, all the right stats. Very, very good player. He's going to be one of your mainstays in your team. Next up, we've got Leroy Sanei, who they paid a shit ton for. Only 20 years old, potential to be 5-star. This kid is beastly. He's a pacey winger, can play both sides. He is left-footed, but just a sensational player in the making. He can already get in the first team. And there's pretty much the same for Raheem Sterling. Pacey, very similar players really, but can play behind the striker as well. Only 21, 5-star potential. These 2 are going to be the future of Man City going forward. Nice. Next up, we've got Fabian Delph. A decent central midfielder. For a lot of teams, he'd be a first choice. But for this team, probably, he's a backup player. But you do need a few backup players, especially homegrown, so that's pretty nice. But it's central midfield. We're perfectly fine. We've got Fernandinho, Yaya Toure, Godongan, and Fabian Delph. Perfectly good central midfielders. So far on the wings, we've got Leroy Sanei and Sterling. You've got Jesus Navas, who starts the game transfer listed. Up to you whether you keep him or not. Obviously, that's a stupid thing to say. Of course, it's up to you. But he's worth 8.75 million. He can still do a job, but he's still got a good pace. He could be a decent backup winger, I'd say, if you haven't got anything else. Next up, we've got one of the best players in the world, David Silva. Really, really good player. 30 years old now. His physicals are starting to decline quite rapidly. In the next couple of years, those are going to drop like a stone. If they're already that low, I think you could be in trouble with it, but he's still going to give you 2 good years. Played on the left-hand side as a playmaker or behind the striker. Lovely. One of my favourite players in the world, Kevin De Bruyne. Absolute monster, this guy. Absolute £55 million value. Can play anywhere in midfield. The guy's a hero. Up front, our options are Nolito, who's the new signing. He can play on the left-hand side as an inside forward. 2-footed, which is always nice. Quite rare in Football Manager to get a true 2-footed player. But very good. Definitely keep him. And obviously Sergio Aguero, he's quite good. Yeah, he's quite good. Yeah. Don't need to say anything about Sergio Aguero. He's really good. And then we got Iheanacho, who's another 5-star potential player. I've seen people manage to buy him off Man City in FM17. But if you're Man City manager, don't sell him. He's a perfect backup for Aguero. And, you know, Aguero's 28. He's not a young chicken. He's not a spring chicken, I think is the word. But Iheanacho's the perfect long-term replacement for Aguero. So what sort of formation are you going to play? With this team, it points to me, one main thing is that it's one up top and it's two very attacking, offensive-minded inside forwards or wingers. You've got Aguero up top as your main man. I would play Raheem Sterling, Leroy Sanei and David Silva rotating on those left and right hand side. And then I would have Kevin De Bruyne and David Silva rotating in that central position right behind Aguero, feeding him those balls. Probably De Bruyne for me, maybe David Silva, more personal preference. I think in this formation, you probably don't need Jesus Navas. Central midfield options are perfectly good. I wouldn't have to worry about any of those whatsoever. I think the big thing here for Man City is the strength in depth. More so, the age of our defence. Both our left-backs are old. Kolarov, 30. Gael Clichy, 30. Zabaleta, 30. I sound like I'm doing football results. Zabaleta, 30. Bakary Sagna, 33. For me, what I'd do is sell one of the right backs, whatever your choice is, one of the left backs, whatever your choice is, replace them with really good up-and-coming young fullbacks. So you've got the future built in then. You don't need two 30-year-old left-backs, for instance. You don't need two 30-year-old right-backs. Get a Rodriguez, get a Gea, get a Hector, get somebody. I'm waving my arms about. I'm not even on webcam. Don't know why I'm doing it. But I think that would be the goal for me. And I'd also bring in a fourth centre-back, a better option as centre-back backup, maybe a youngster, maybe someone with experience. That's totally up to you. I'd also think about bringing in a young goalkeeper because we got two oldies in goal. I think this team, and I'll go on to sort of, how much fun is this team? What sort of challenge is this team? This team as it stands is probably one of the best. It's probably top 2, top 3 at least in the Premiership. So winning the Premiership is definitely doable. The challenge and what will make this series fun is the fact that you basically need to replace 75% of your squad in the next couple of years. Because the age is, I knew they were an older team, but look, let's look at 28 years old and above. It's like 2/3 of the team, right? So that would be the fun challenges, getting a better goalkeeper, getting the fullbacks in, replacing the likes of Yaya Toure and Fernandinho and all those sort of all those players over time. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. There you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Man City team, what areas of the team you're going to strengthen, who's overrated, who's underrated. Are you going to cash in on any of the big names or just sort of, keep the core of the team and, like I said, just bring in those youngsters? I'd love to know some, especially, I know like those 3 left backs that I mentioned, but what are some of the really good right back options that you've seen? Like some really good up and coming youth talent. I think that'd be really useful for people watching this video. So please do get involved in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new to the place, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.